Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. Tonight we are going to break down, not, I'm gonna tell y'all, we just gonna break it down. I know y'all saw the post, I know y'all saw it, but we're gonna talk about how not to go broke during these holidays because we already know, now, y'all overspending is cute until January hits, and that's when them bills coming back. So we want to talk about that. We want to talk about that smart holiday budgeting. We want to talk about what to stop doing right now. Right now. What do what to do instead and how to set yourself up for a financial stress free 2026. Plus, I'm going to be sharing some details about my get ready for tax season training on 12/17/2025. I'm also going to talk about registering for that. I'll have the link put on here shortly. Sorry, y'all, I should have had that link together, but I'll have that on here before we go. And then we're also going to talk about our Christmas giveaway again, where we're going to do the games and bring it back like how we did the Thanksgiving giveaway, where we had such a good time and had so much fun. So we're gonna be giving away several gifts like we did before. We gave out some gift cards, we gave out some ebooks, we gave out so many different things that people won, and we had a great time doing it. So we're going to now go ahead and just talk about what our discussion is all about because I really want to talk to y'all about not going broke during these holidays because so many times we're in situations where we'll spend a bunch of money on Christmas, but then we get stuck because we're like, okay, now Christmas is over. We had a good time. We was able to make, some people smile. It may not make us smile afterwards. We look at our pockets. but, but we was just trying to see them smiley faces for people, and we spent and spent and spent. But we want to let y'all know, like, come on, we gotta do something different, y'all. We gotta do a little different. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna start this off with, basically just letting y'all know that first let me let y'all talk to Miss Day because Miss Day all day is on here. Y'all know I keep forgetting to do this because I did this last week. Or I forgot to say who we were. Like I just jumped on and started talking to y'all like y'all just know me. Like, hey. So I
hot, ready to go.
I just be jumping right in and I don't be saying like who we are or any of that. I just be jumping right on up in it. So I first want to say hi, I am Denise Murray, and this is my special host with me. And this is Miss Day all day, Miss Denise Day on here with me. And we're gonna go ahead, like I said, we're gonna talk about this because I want y'all to just come on in with us and just have this conversation on how not to go broke on these holidays because Christmas is supposed to be joyful, not stressful. And a lot of times we become stressful during the holidays. And every year, folks max out these cards, they drain their accounts, they overspend. And then January, you trying to clean all the mess up, but now you actually then bought your new year in broke. And is that, I don't know, let's talk about that. Is that like a suspicious thing? Or, like when you come in the new year and you don't have no money, do you feel like you going to be broke all year long? Is that just a suspicious thing?
Come on. And truly, from the depths of my heart, I used to think about this because, like you say, when you're younger and you just kind of want to impress and you want everybody to be happy. But then as I got older, what I started realizing is that this is a setup.
Mm-hmm.
This is a setup for a setback. And see, normally a setup could be a setback for a comeback. But I really believe that this holiday buffoonery is a setup that is done by the corporations. Everything that they have made it out to be is not there's no truth in it, right? And that if you are going to spend and you're going to charge and max out your credit cards, and you go buy the latest this, the latest that to impress your or whomever, and then you're gonna go into that new year broke
Mhm.
and depressed. You're not gonna be feeling good about it because you're gonna be robbing Peter to pay Paul now, right? And to me, that is the makeup of I just want to blame it on the organizations and the businesses, but yeah, let's put it on them. Because if they can keep us
Mhm.
bowed down and broken and in debt, then that's more interest and money for them. And see, back in the day when you was running this stuff up on your credit cards, it used to be 5 to 7%. Nowadays, it's 29, almost 30%
Mm.
that you gonna pay on the credit card, that you gonna charge some stuff up. And I used to be cracking up because I remember when I was younger, my cousins, honey, there was 7 of them, and they mom and dad used to go all out, girl. I ain't never seen so many toys in all my life. And they used to play with them for 1 to 2 days. And then they were tossed aside. The baby alive had food coming out her mouth and her
Mm.
body. Nobody played with her again. But when you trying to do all this extraness, then it's not really worth it in the long run. I think we're gonna talk about some better ways that we could use funds to serve yourself, your children, your insurance, and your business, or just your household. Even if you don't have a business and you don't have to do all of that impressing and flashing and flexing and $200-300 shoes and all this other stuff. That's just what I believe. And I believe it's a setup because if
Right.
they got you broke in the beginning of the year, you're gonna be struggling through the rest of it. Okay.
Mhm. That's facts. Now, why do you think people go broke on the holidays? Do you think it's trying to impress family, buying gifts out of guilt, shopping without a budget, using credit cards with no plan or payback, or just not preparing for it at all because you already know that, everybody knows Christmas is in December. It's not like it changed. It's always on the same day, same year, every year. So it's like, well, everybody knows it. So do you think that it's more of a impression thing, or do you think it's about guilt, or do you think it's just not budgeting?
I think it's a little bit of combination of all of it, needs to be real. If you
Mm,
think about it, it's a combination of all of it. Because when I used to be, I'm not even saying trying to impress the family members, but when I was buying gifts for family members that I knew didn't even like me. So why the hell am I out here putting you
mm,
gifts for you on my credit card or worrying about what you think about what I got you when I know you don't even like me? So that's that trying to impress, but
right.
you don't really want to admit it, but that's really what's going on. That buying gifts out of guilt, a lot of parents are caught up in that because I didn't have it when I was a child. I want my kids to have more than what I had. Well, how about you want them to have a plan of saving some money and growing something, investing money, not even just saving it, but
Mm,
invest it, because you get in the right investments, your money can grow. Teach your children about investments because the school system ain't gonna teach them about no money. They're gonna teach them how to keep on spending,
mm,
how to borrow, how to get more credit cards, even when they get in college. They're gonna hit them up with the credit cards.
right.
But teach them. I think that is true. The guilt, and they always say, "I want my babies to have more than what I had." How about just have love and kindness and teach them how to be
Right.
kind and share with others,
Mm-hmm.
give it to people that don't have. There's other ways you can do that. And shopping without a budget. That used to be me, girl, swiping that debit card. And when I did had a less amount of money, everything went on a note. I wrote it down. I wrote it down. But as soon as I started getting a little more money, honey, oh, it was swipe it and go, swipe it and go. And you ain't thinking about it till it get close to the end. When you don't
Right.
swipe so much that you didn't really recognize, but that's shopping without a budget. Even if you
Mm,
want to give and love, and like I just sent my godmom some things, and we bless each other back and forth. But if you want to do that, then budget for it. Don't just be
right.
willy nilly and I'm gonna do any and everything. You don't want to do any and everything and come up short in the end. And ain't nobody thinking about tax season right now. They gonna be thinking about it come
Right.
January,
Now,
February, January.
right. But that's the thing. I believe one of the things that people do is sometimes, and this is just my opinion, I think that sometimes some people overspend because they look at it like, I'm gonna get a refund. And you figure that's right after the Christmas holidays. So they'll spend that money and then they be looking for that money. So that's why you'll see so many people who a lot of times will want to get their money fast because they are in a hole. So now they're trying to bring themselves out of that hole with using their refund. So that's why you'll see a lot of times where people will be like rushing to get their taxes done as soon as taxes open because they're like, I need my refund, I need it now, or either they'll try to get a loan off of their refund for what they're expected to get when they have kids. You see what I'm saying? So when people be having those kids, they will be like looking for that money, quicker off of tax refunds. So that's why I think that's what happens with some. But I think let's talk about the gifts because this was a discussion.
Hold up. Park the car for 1 minute because I never really even thought about that.
Right.
That thinking about with the tax stuff of it, that I'm gonna burn through this right now, but I'm gonna get that back later. But then can you imagine the disappointment if the money don't come through like that?
That's the part. That right there. And then now, before you used to be able to take your last pay stub and go get your taxes done, right? But they stopped that because there was some discrepancies in it. So the IRS no longer allows people to go and get their taxes done and with their last pay stub. And if they do, that company can get shut down. So now what it is now because they know all companies have until January 31st to send out those tax forms. What they started doing now is they're like, okay, we're not even accepting the tax returns for the people who have earned income credits or child tax credits and all these type of credits until February now. So that's why you notice people they make them automatically because of what it is a lot of times people will rush to get their taxes done. And this has happened with so many people. They rush to get them done. And soon as they get their tax forms, however, sometimes they don't think about all the stuff that they have. You know what I mean? So sometimes they may have stocks. And a lot of times if you have stocks and bonds or if you have
401k money,
401k or different, if you got money off of that, if you drew money, if you sold your stocks, or if you had crypto, those different things like that, sometimes you don't get a form for them. Those retirement plans and different things like that. Sometimes you have to actually go onto those websites and pull those forms because you may not get it because what a lot of people don't realize is when they sign up for them, they're signing up to receive that stuff electronically. And so they're assuming that like their W-2 a lot of times, and now even nowadays, they don't even always send the W-2s in the mail because they're now having them electronically for some people as well. So when these things are done electronically, you actually have to get these forms from these different companies. And so that is why they're like, okay, hold on. It's just started with January. The companies haven't even had enough time they have until the 31st to get your stuff out to you. So how is it that you finished with your taxes already and the companies ain't even finished with putting all their stuff out?
Girl, that's what I was just getting ready to say. Do the people know about this?
Right. So that's why they started pushing it back because you figure people are rushing. And then what's happening is you having more and more people who are now starting to owe more money. And the reason why some of them are owing is not because they may have not paid, is because they're getting these refunds so quick off of doing their taxes so fast, and they forgot a form that's an income form. And when it comes to those income forms, you don't never want to forget those because let's just say you got back a certain amount of money that you wasn't supposed to get back. Now you owing that and some. So it's like now you done put yourself in a situation and now you probably done spent that money that fast. And so now you like in the situation. So that's why I always tell people to not rush and get their taxes done. Make sure that you actually have hold on, this looks like something's going on with this system.
Documents.
Yeah, make sure you have all your documents. I always recommend people to actually go on and wait until February. That's
February.
just what I usually do with people. I always say wait till February. Don't start like I know you like there's sometimes like okay, January 15th, the IRS may open up. Sometimes they may open up later. It just all varies. But I always say wait until February and get your stuff done, because if you don't wait until then, and God forbid, there's an issue, then hold on. It looked
Yeah.
like something is going on with the Instagram. It's telling me we're having trouble. If you ended the Instagram, then this is expected. If not, there's
I
always some
didn't even put
technical
mine up
issues.
today. I didn't even get mine up today because my Instagram was being weirdo. So I didn't do it.
Okay.
I'm doing right now.
Yeah. I don't know. It's always this the devil working. Hold on. Let
I
me see. Let
know.
me see.
But we showing up though, so the devil is a lie.
Yeah, we ain't gonna let him win. We ain't even gonna let him win, because that is what he's trying to do. But we not gonna let him play these games with us today. No, we not. But we still gonna talk to y'all because we still got y'all. So we gonna keep on moving. We gonna try to fix this and still continue our chat. And so, what would you recommend for people to stop doing right now? Would you say stop the last minute emotional shopping? Would you say stop buying gifts for people who don't even speak to you in February?
Girl,
Would you say
girl.
stop?
Where my mic go? Where the mic get, Daddy? Where the mic go? We gonna drop the mic twice.
Right.
Because I would just tell you the truth. Okay, here's what I chose to do. See though, but I don't have a lot of kids that have been, I almost said emotionally brainwashed. Because sometimes some of this stuff is emotional brainwashing. We done it, it was done to us as children, it's just what it is. But at some point in my life, I
Mhm.
decided it could have been when my relationship with God was growing stronger, it could have been whatever it was, but I stopped doing Christmas. I stopped doing Christmas as if, it's got to be about paying and buying and all of this foolishness. Because 2 years ago, girl, I had a beautiful tree. You could look at
Mhm.
my tree that days, it would be turquoise some years. It was pink for breast cancer awareness other years. It was purple. Girl, I took the tree and every ornament, multicolor ornaments, and gave them to this family. Because this lady just really
Mhm.
liked my tree. She saw the picture. I gave it all to her because I'm no longer hung up on this business acronym of what Christmas is. Because I
Right.
remember, like I said, when they started taking Christ out of Christmas, you can't even talk about Jesus. And in reality, that really wasn't even Jesus' birthday. And then, but you got us all bogged down, and everybody got to go running up credit cards and buying all these expensive things. And that's not even what it was about. That's not what it should be about for
Right.
me. Now I'm talking about Denise. And
Mhm.
so, and then, like you say, I have family members that don't like me, but my sister, I just sent one of my sisters a big box, sent her things with monies in it because I know that's some stuff that can help her, and that's what she need. But girl, all
Right.
this other stuff about stuff, if I'm loving on you, I'll give you a love offering between January, and it can roll in your hands between January and December. But it does
Mhm.
not have to be in the month of December where I'm going to back myself in a corner to prove anything to anybody. I'm no
Right.
longer going to do that. Me and my husband don't do that anymore. I'd be like, babe, you want a I love you gift? It'll be all what you feel, what you feeling. And it's hard for me to get him to want to shop or do stuff like that. Because I'll get some, but whatever I'm needing or wanting, it's okay. But to me, that's my I love you throughout the year. I'm not looking at it and focusing on Christmas. And like you say, I don't have to prove nothing to nobody. I'm
Right.
not making up for your bad childhood. I don't have to do none of that because what that is going to do is lead me into pressure and stress and debt come into a
Right.
new year that I want to come in clean and fresh. I'm not doing that no more. But I think you got to ask yourself, sit down and have a conversation with self and say, self, is this worth it to me to go into a new year in this predicament? And they'll give you them
Mm.
credit cards fast as you please. But look at the interest rate, 30%. That's dangerous. That's very dangerous.
Mhm.
Yeah. So girl, I know I get on the
Yeah.
tangent, but
It
I
really
don't think
is.
it's worth it. I do not. And I think people that love you, if you want to give a love offering to somebody, give them something that's gonna be lasting. Give them something that's gonna be tangible. If you're gonna buy them some stock, whatever they use, what products. When I was buying
Mm,
my stock market, the S&P 500 have those 500 stock in there. But when I went and bought my own, it's whatever I use, whatever products I use. I had Procter and Gamble.
mm,
I don't even drink Coca-Cola, but I know people addicted to it. So I had
right.
Coca-Cola stock, the Hathaway, the old man, all them. Girl, I had stock that would make me some money that wasn't going to be a great risk. Teach your children about the stock
Mm.
market and get some life insurance. How about that? Or a small business. And then
Mm.
them running off a business. All of that.
Exactly.
These are my thoughts.
Now,
You can grow from
that's the
that.
truth. That's the truth. But we don't think about those things. And I think a lot of times when it comes to Christmas, I think a lot of times is a thing of number one, always I remember this man, he did a thing on TV one day. He was talking about business, and he was
Mhm.
talking and he actually brought up Christmas. And one of the things that he said, he talked about, he was like, kids have a short attention span. He was like, and commercials are very short. So he said that is why they make those commercials the way they do, and they tend to put more and more of the commercials out there as it get closer to Christmas around those toys and different things, so those kids can say, "I want, I want, I want," and
Yep.
that's how because that's how they attention span is. So they're just asking for everything all the time. Like you could take a kid to the store and they will tell you they want everything in the store. As soon as you go in there, you be like, you ain't getting nothing. But
Come on,
it
don't
is
touch
like
nothing. Don't say nothing.
that.
I'm always like,
But
you put
that's
your
just how, and that's what he said. He said that's why they set those commercials the way he do. But one of the concerns that he was saying is the parents that's out here. He talked about the parents that are buying their kids iPhones or these real expensive phones for these kids to just break, and they really don't understand the value of them, but you're spending well over $1,000 for a cell phone for a kid. And so it's like, what
ooh,
what is the purpose of spending that kind of money on a cell phone for a child? Like, all they're going to do is play games on the phone. They're not working, so they ain't making no money on that phone. And is it just to say I got my kid an iPhone, or is it to say they got the latest thing? Is it really something that's needed? Like, what is that? What is the purpose of getting? Like, I've seen kids as little as young as 5 years old with the latest phones. And I'll be
crazy.
like, for what reason? And then they'd be the first ones to break them, and then their parents got to worry about getting them fixed and all that. You be like, what was the purpose of doing that? And then it's like, I'm getting my kids iPhones. I'm getting my kids, and it's just like, for what reason? Like, what are you trying to prove? Who are you proving it to?
Who are you trying to impress? Because
Right.
and you better sleep with one eye open because you try to take them phones. Some of these kids, they put doing real harm to their parents if they try to take a dang on Xbox or a phone.
Oh
I
wow.
think some of these crazy crime stories. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But when I think about that, because if my thing is the reason a child would need to have a phone for safety purposes, one of them
Mm,
alarms that I got in my Amazon store, go check out Miss Day Amazon store. You pull that alarm if somebody's trying to snatch you, and you would have that alarm. You can get a child a burner phone, can't you?
mm,
What the hell do a child need with a $1,200 iPhone? Burner phone, and ain't that what I think that's what they call them. When
mm,
people doing illicit stuff, they would have them burner phones back in the day. But a
mm,
burner phone, you could call my phone if you're having an emergency, if something's going on. That's the emergency phone. But
right.
until you get a job, see, I started working at 14. But until you get a job or earn enough or have a reason enough to have an iPhone, I don't believe children should have iPhones. And like you say, that some of that stuff is really consuming our children. They can't
Mm,
even communicate one to another because they facing a phone. Walking in
mm,
the street, don't even look up. You on a phone. But no, I don't. I think that trying to impress, that whole keeping up with the Joneses is on a whole nother level now, girl. Back in the day, it'd be on some hush puppies and some cute clothes. Now it's on
mm,
cars and phones and and Xboxes and trips. They done took it to another level. But no, I don't agree with that at all. And then
Right.
too, you
Now I
could be a
remember we used to love, because I remember we was like, right, that's
it could be
true.
a Target with
And
a
that
high.
thing is like we all want nice stuff. We all want nice stuff. Like that's not to say we don't want nice things. Like everybody wants something nice. Everybody loves to say, I was able to get this thing nice. Now, as we got older, and I can say this because I know some people, like when you talk to younger people, one of the things that they'll say is they'll say, well, you used to want to get this, or you used to wear this, or you used to have that. And I say, like, when you hear that and you're like, okay, yeah, but at the same token, I actually had a job. Like, like I was doing things to make money to get those things. Whereas though these days the kids just got their hand out and not looking to do anything. Like me and my dad talked one time when it was snowing outside, and he was like, he remember back in the day where it would be kids running up and down the street looking, ringing your bell, asking you, can they shovel up your snow. Now it's snow outside. You won't find one kid outside. You can't find nobody outside to even shovel up because none of them is out there doing it. None of them is hustling like that no more. Like they're not doing it like they used to. It's
They
like
not
they
gonna
just
even
be
shine
in the
their own
house. And
driveway. They
so
gonna even do their own.
so
I'm just
yeah, it's
saying,
just
and
so different now than we
you
right.
are so right, but
And
that's
it's
the
crazy.
point. It's no earning anything. If everything is given, then there will not be a work ethic. You got to grow a child
Mm,
up with a work ethic. That's where that comes from.
mm-hmm,
Whomever that person's primary custodial loving person, even if it ain't the person that live with them, it could be the godmom, it could be your auntie, whomever that person is, that person's got to instill that work ethic into that child. But I think now,
mm,
I think the genie is out of the bottle. I don't know how these parents are gonna get it back in because it is loose. And but you gotta think about your own household. Like they say, for
mm,
as for me and my house, we're gonna serve the Lord. We will have standards, and there's got to be a standard in place, and
mm,
a feeling of giving back, going to the community, helping somebody. I love seeing these YouTube channels, girl, where they just be helping people and helping the homeless folks, or go to the grocery store, just roll up on somebody and pay for their groceries. Girl, I'm gonna connect with some of these people because that's how I want my channel to be, and just be about loving kindness. But
mm.
all of it, gimme, 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 I deserve it. You can't tell me no, or I might
Mm.
kill you in your sleep, or I'm gonna shoot you if you take my Xbox. Shit, girl.
And
But
it's
the Bible
crazy.
speaks of this. It's crazy. But we
Mhm.
got to we have to instill the work ethic and have an
Right.
understanding with the
Now, when you
people.
say instill that work ethic, now let's talk about that. So, what would you say for someone who have kids? What would you say would be a thing of something that they can do when it comes to um, trying to teach them some work ethics? Like, what would you say is a good thing for someone teaching their kids? Like, let me show you what to do. Like, what should you start off? Like, what would you say for
Okay.
them?
Okay, I think that with that first standard, I think everything starts at home first. Because
Mm-hmm.
I see where a lot of parents, like, they don't want to put no pressure on their kids. Their kids don't do chores. I'd rather do it right the first time instead of having my kid do it and I got to do it, come in behind them. No, I think a child ought to have chores. And if a
Mm-hmm.
child is having chores, even when I was a foster parent, and that was the first thing they told us as a foster parent, you give the child chores. And I
Mm-hmm.
was the one, I was like, okay, I got my foster kids. We going to NBA games. I'm going to the ball at the church. We going this. We doing that. And my mom used to tell me, she said, Nisa, you're spoiling your kids. But I wanted to let them know that everything don't have to be. Everybody's not against you. I want to
Mm-hmm.
show you nice things. I like you just said. Everybody want nice things. I want you to
Mm-hmm.
go and do what I do. But they had a rule in place that you give these children chores, and then that's how they earn their allowance. And then
Mm-hmm.
that's how they made money through their allowance. If there's a bonus situation, then there's a bonus. If there were good grades, How are your grades? I see this man back in New York. The little kids come in the store. They come bring him their grades on the phone. He let them get whatever they want in the store. But you got to
Oh,
be
that's
starting at home. It was so cool. I love that. And then little
great.
boy be like, I just want to get some eggs and bacon for my family. And he be like, you get whatever you need. And then he still maybe give him $50. But if
Mm,
you're instilling that in the house and that's coming from you, they gonna have that work ethic as they grow up. I had it in
mm,
my house. And, we had chores. You either did the kitchen, the living room, or the upstairs. And them bathrooms, that kitchen, and the living room had to be clean before my mom got off her second job at 11 at night. So you can fool around, honey, up until 10:30, 10:45, but you better get it done. The first time I got bopped in my mouth by my mom, I said I could do them dishes in the morning. And my mom didn't
mm.
agree. And before I got it out of my mouth, I got bopped in my, and that taught me at 9, don't be to my mom, okay? But I had a job at 14. At 14, I wanted to buy
Mm,
my own school clothes. So that's how I got a summer
mm.
job. We had a summer job in the neighborhoods. I don't know why they took summer jobs away from the kids, because they want them to
Do
be
they,
delinquent. But
don't have to? I don't know if anybody on here because I know. Let me see. There's some comments. Watching Toot said I used to do that. Trillian said my son cleaned the neighbors' trash cans once a month and $25 per trash can. That's cool. And to
see,
say,
see,
yeah. So, but I'm wondering if there's anybody on here listening because I remember there used to be a program up north where you could work and you can start, real early. Like they had it for kids where you could do programs. I know my daughter was even in one of those programs where they work at like the camps and stuff like that when you're young, and then you just go up
yes,
and older. You can go into different
yes.
positions. They still had that. Like well, of course she's 21 now, but this was when because even in her first 2 years of high school, she was still doing it. But it was
Girl,
as like from I think it started at like 12 and then you can go up because I remember I got only like $60. But it was still something, you know what I mean?
yes. It was
Yeah.
beautiful. And even on my record right now, on my Social Security paperwork, it
Mm,
shows that when I started working that job in 1977, I'm 62 years old now, and I was 14. And the man that ran the summer program, summer youth programs, was in our community, and he made sure that every kid in our neighborhood had a summer job. We were
wow.
14. And in my first summer job, I worked in the office. I was in the
Mm,
office answering the telephone. And that's
wow.
probably what led me to always being a chatty Cathy, and being able to feel comfortable working in an office environment and having a customer service and hello,
Mm,
how you doing when people came into the office. That was
mhm,
14 years old. And that was the year where I asked my mom, please let me buy my own summer clothes. And I mean
mhm,
my school clothes. So we bought our own school clothes. Girl, I rebelled against my mom and went and got a gold tooth when I was in the eighth grade so that next year. But mama wasn't too happy about that. But I was like, I got my own money. Honey, that
uh,
gold tooth cost me $55. But it made me feel so, my self-esteem went through the roof when I
mm,
got that job. And the
mm,
people kids in the neighborhood, and you could apply. What job do you want? You want office work? You want to work at the park? You want to work in the gym? You want to do food service? They give away food. It was a beautiful situation, and I did that from the time I was 14 into high school. Then when I got into high school, when I graduated a year early, and I went to work at a McDonald's, as long as you had school work. But they
right.
needed to get that back, because that's when kids stopped engaging. That's when the whole work ethic went out the window. And your
Mhm.
mom shouldn't have to buy everything. If you want something, you go get it, earn it.
Right. My mom said it's filler job that they had. Natalie said I did that and my mom made me give her $20 each week for the $60 I got paid. At the time I would get upset when she took that $20, but she was putting it away in the savings for me. Now that was really, really good. That was
That
real
is
good.
good. That was excellent. And
And that's
mom was
something,
letting her
yeah, that's
know.
real good. Yeah, that was a bonus right there.
Yeah.
And then she said, Maddie said it was called Fill a Job. That's what I had did because I remember I was working it was the summer thing, summer program, and you got the,
Mhm.
the little $60 or whatever. And that's where I was in most. And to be honest, we really didn't even do a whole lot of work because it was more like a classroom, but we got paid. And I was like,
Right.
and it was really cool, to do. Plus, my mom actually owned a bar, so for me, I actually started off working at 12 because I would just go and clean at my bar every Saturday. So that was like my
See?
Saturday job. Every Saturday, I would go in the bar, clean up in the morning before it got open. Then as I got older, that's when I moved to from cleaning up to then going to working in the kitchen where I was actually cooking and like doing food and stuff in the kitchen. Then from the kitchen, then I went to bartending. So it was like, so we
Wow.
had like I was able to do different jobs in there. And but the filler job, like I said, that was a good one where I started early on too, because I was doing both at one point because of the fact that that was something where you get the little $60 or whatever, and I was so hyped about the little change that I was making at a young age. Like you
Exactly.
said, for that time, I remember that's when we had those shearlings because I was so hyped. I remember I went to I think it was what was it was oh my god, what was the name of that store? It was on 69th Street, City Blue. I was so hyped to get this jacket. It was this $300. I'll never forget. It was a $300 shirt, and it had like all the different colors and stuff on it. And it was
Like
leather, and it
color
was real
blocking.
heavy, like real heavy too. And it had like that like fur stuff inside of it. And it was $300. Well, I was saving that little money to get my jacket because I was wanted that jacket so bad. But I was like, I'm gonna get that jacket.
See, and shout out to mom. Shout out to mom for building that work ethic. That's the
Right, right.
point. And then you gonna
Mm-hmm.
know everything's not free. And for the queen that was on her, she said she was hating. She had to give up that $20, but I bet you got an understanding about money. You understood that the money is coming in. This is what it's for. I think my mom did used to get 10 or $20 from us because back then, remember the minimum wage was like $1.10 or
Mm-hmm.
2.10 or something. They paid us on the minimum wage. We had a full work week, Monday through Friday. If you did not show up, you got doctor day. Your time card went in. I had a
Mm-hmm.
clear understanding about working and money at 14
Right.
years old.
Right.
Sure
Now
did.
these
It
children
cracked me
wanted
up. Okay.
expensive things. They had to earn it. They had to earn half the money. And that right there, that's what I would do with my daughter. Like I will help you, but you had to try to figure it out. And that's what I started teaching with my daughter. Like my thing now is I try to show her like, okay, I'm never against like because I know sometimes people are like, oh, what are you against jobs? I'm like, no, I'm never against a job, but we all started somewhere. Everybody had to have a job. It's just that I
Yeah.
always tell people that it's good to have a plan B, something else other than a job. Because, like I tell my story, I let everybody know when I moved here from Pennsylvania to Georgia, it was rough. Like I went through because it was 2008, and I went through all them different layoffs, and I'm like, it was crazy. Like try, and then I think what really killed it was when I first came here, and I tell y'all, I got this job, which I was so it actually was the crazy thing about it is I was making less money than what I was making in Philly. However, the job wasn't that far, and because
Man,
everything is so far out here in Georgia than what it was in Philly, like you can go somewhere in 15, I'll be somewhere in 10, 15 minutes in Philly. Here, I'm not even getting far out my subdivision with it. So it's like out here is a little bit different when it comes to like getting places.
and y'all
Right.
driving like bats out of hell in Philly too. You know, I've been to Philly. It's a scary situation with that driving in Philly. I'm just saying. Digress.
Well, listen, I was like, so when I got here, I didn't do when I first got here because it was like September 1st, 2008. I got here that first week. I basically was just focused. The first 2 weeks, I basically was just focused on unpacking and going from room to room, getting the rooms and everything in order.
Set
After
up.
I got everything packed and we got things set up, that's when I started going into let me start looking for a job. So that's when I went and it became a job looking for a job. Like I literally got up 7 o'clock in the morning, was on a computer, and at that time it was like everything. I don't know if it's still like that now, but at that time it was like you had to go through temp agencies for most of the stuff because it was like
Oh,
trying to get
yeah.
a job directly through these companies was hard, and so it was like it was easier to get a job through a temp agency
Mhm.
than it was to go directly through the jobs. Because even when I was back home, just to flip it for a second, even when I was back home, when I worked at the water company, I actually applied for that job before I got the job at the company. They didn't hire me. I went back, I went to the agency to go get a job. The agency ended up sending me to the same water company that I had went on an interview with,
Already applied for.
and they hired me through the temp agency that I had just left the week prior. So I'm like, a lot of times with these jobs, when people are looking for jobs, sometimes it's easier to get through them temp agencies than it is going directly, because they get a better thing when you're going through the temp agency. So fast forward, when I got here, I went through the temp agency to go get a job. Now I was going through, so like when I tell you, I was contacting all these different agencies, and of course they always say, oh, they got jobs available when you go on Indeed and all this kind of crap. And so you be doing all this, and then they be having these tests that be like an hour to 2 hours long. You taking all these tests. So I'm testing all throughout the day, doing all this stuff, then still having to interview with them, go into their offices, interviewing, doing these long drawn out tests that they want you to take. And then they'll be like, they don't have nothing available right now. And so you go through that so much. So you start going through so many different companies. So then when I finally got something, I was like, okay, I'm not even going to moan about the money, because at least I'm getting a check. You see what I'm saying? And it's not like I ain't getting nothing. So I got the job. And plus I was also happy that it was literally like 20 minutes from my house. So I was like, shucks, I can go home. I could come home for lunch and everything. Like, it wasn't that bad for me. So I wasn't really like stressing it. Now they said this job was a temp to perm, right? So I was so hyped. I was like, okay, I got it. Temp to perm. They said, but we were also on a school schedule. So anytime schools was out, we was out for work. So, you know, that Christmas time, mind you, this was right around Christmas, because I got the job. This was October. So I started the job in October, Christmas time in December when that came up, and we was off for 2 weeks for the Christmas break. So at that point, I had went home for Christmas. How about I go home for Christmas, on my way of getting ready to come back, because now we getting ready to hit New Year's. Coming back home, I get the phone call that job, that assignment has ended. And I'm like, I would have never came home. So when we talk about this thing here about spending money that we don't need to spend, this is what I was so mad about, because I'm like, I spent money when I went to Philly. Not only did I spend money to get to Philly, but I spent unnecessary money on gifts that I could have held back, you know what I mean, if I ain't go up there, because of the fact that I'm assuming I'm coming back to a job. Now I got to give out these gifts and spent this money getting down there and spent this money on these gifts and all this kind of stuff, and now I'm sitting here broke. And so now I'm back home, and then I'm back to looking for a whole nother job. So then I get to another job. I finally found another job. This job was working at the mortgage company. I got the job working at the mortgage company. So I'm like, okay, cool. Everything is good. Almost a year has passed. And guess what? The mortgage company talking about, oh, we're selling a company and closing a call center. But they're like, oh, if you stay, then you'll get a severance package. But if you leave, you won't get the package. And at this point, I'm like, I'm just going to go. You know, I wasn't thinking about the package or anything. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead. At this point, that's when I went and took a tax course. I was like, you know what? I can just do taxes. So I went ahead, took a tax course, and was like, I'm going to do taxes, and I'm going to just leave this job and be done. Did that, got to take the tax course, finished that that was with H&R Block at the time. I finished that.
That's when your transition happened.
I took the tax course at the H&R Block, and when they handed me my paper and told me that I would be making minimum wage, it was no way that I can make minimum wage and be able to survive. So I literally had to go look for a whole other job. So I was like, okay, this is crazy. So now I'm back at the temp agency all over again. So now when I get to the temp agency, I'm looking for another job. Now I get the job working for the law firm. So now I'm working for the law firm, and you know, that point, now I'm good. Now it's like almost 5 years I'm here working. I'm thinking everything getting good. Now I'm making the money that I'm thinking, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm good now. Then they start sending all these things. You start hearing, the little rumors start going around the call center. Oh, this, that. They having to shut. The next thing you know, here we come with the notices again. Now this time, when they said that we all was like are not going to have our job, they was actually giving us a severance package. So I was like, this time I ain't gonna be stupid like I did the last time. I'm gonna go ahead and take that package. So I actually took the package this time, but like I ain't do it the last time. So I did that. But during this time, that's when I said, you know what? I never finished college at that time. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna take this opportunity because down there they're giving us the where we can get our unemployment. So we was able to get our unemployment and we was getting our severance package. So I said, I'm gonna use this time to go see if I can go back to school. So I went back to school and then I also said I'm gonna intern at an intern at a accounting firm because if I intern then I can get that hands-on experience. And I was like, I went there and at the time I was like, look, y'all ain't even gotta pay me because I already knew I had the money from the that they gave out from the stimulus package, and plus I had my unemployment. So I was like this, yes. So I was just like, okay, I'm good with that. So I just want to make sure I can have that hands-on experience. And my hands-on experience, what I wanted to focus on, because I already knew everything personal. Like I knew how to do an easy personal tax returns. You can do that with your eyes sleep, with the eyes closed. You know what I mean? So I was like, I just more so want to focus on corporate because I knew corporate was where the money was at. So that's when I got into.
That's where the money resides.
So that's when I started learning more about corporate taxes, corporate, setting up corporations and all that kind of stuff. That's when I was getting that hands-on experience with doing that. But again, not thinking like what we talking about Christmas, and we still going through time, still going on. And even with this, I working, then 2 years down, what was it, 2 or 3 years down the line, they then said they were selling their company. The firm that I wound up working with full, because I finished school and wound up going on full time with them. They sold to another company, which at that point I was fine because they said there's going to be no changes. Everything is going to remain the same. So I was okay. Stayed with them. Another year went past, and guess what? They was now selling. Now they sold the company. So then I was like, okay. So now, after the third time of them saying they were selling, guess who they sold the company to?
Who?
H&R.
Girl. Well, I was ready to say God was thrusting you into your destiny. He was to get you to your destiny.
I was like, yo, I done went past this company how many times, and I said I want to work with these people, and no matter what, it kept coming back where it was like it just was almost like circling me to be at this company for some reason. So then at that point I was like, I'm not doing this because they're not trying, because they force you. What it is that they don't really pay you when you work for these companies like Jackson, Hewitt, H&R Block, all these different companies out there. They pay you basically minimum wage to work for these companies. They keep you as a part-time employee because they don't want to have to pay you benefits and all that.
Benefits, so
you're considered a seasonal employee, and then you're required to take so much time off. Like you have to say like 3-4 months off. Like you don't work a full year. You're like forced out the door on going because they don't want to have you nothing but a seasonal person. So then I'm like going through doing that. So now I said, okay, I'm looking at during this time, I'm like, let me find something else. Once they took over, I was like, I got to get something. So that's when I started working with the place, the Viewpoint Health over in Gwinnett. And that's when I was like more like with the state or whatever. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do this and stay here until my child, finished with school. But then as I was there and I was just like driving that ride, that 2 hours to go to work, and that 2 hours to come home. And then it was just, and then one of my incidents that happened where a deer ran into the car. Yo, I was freaking out. So after that, it was just like, you know what? During all of this time, though, I still was working on doing something on my own, but I was working on it on a back burner through all of these different things that I was going through. When I started it, though, it was when I was at that accounting firm. That's what put me, because when I started working with corporate as an intern, that's what opened up my eyes, because one thing I'll never forget, it was this man who owned it. His name was Mr. Chuck. And one of the things that I say I will always remember with him is that he always talked about being a business owner. And even back then, and this is not even now on the times, even back then, he talked about how your taxes is benefited with being a business owner opposed to just doing it as an employee, because of the write-offs and things that you can use. Now, even though they were doing some things that we really wasn't supposed to do, like they was giving us 1099s when technically we were supposed to be W-2 employees, because we was actually in office. And I kind of kicked myself in the foot because because I was working with a lawyer and at the law firm. And when I was telling her, when she was asking me a question, I told her, and she was like, huh? She was like, and but thank God she ain't say nothing, but she was just like, you're not supposed to be considered, you're not supposed to have a 1099 because you're physically going into their office and working. You're supposed to have a W-2. And so I was like, you know, I wasn't supposed to say that, you know. And so I had to kind of bite my mouth, man, you know.
But you still had that mentality.
It was right,
even still in the 9 to 5, you was working on
my stuff at night. Even at that job working, I would go to work, come home, still working for that job when I came home because of the hours. And because they was 24 hours, there was people who work at night. And that's why I say with me, my mentality is different when it comes to certain things. Like some people be like, oh my God, you know, when it comes to like, even now, like I know I was like, I started slacking when it came to getting up, because I was like, I have to work out. But I was like, I'm going to get back on it. It's just that right now, because I have so many things going on, I'm up. Like, we working, you talk about working out at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I might have just went
at 5:30.
I'm just like, at 4 o'clock, I'm like, oh, I need some sleep. So that's why I be like, right now, it wasn't, and honestly, because I know what I have to do, and I have to do it before the year ends, because I already know I have certain things and things I have to hit. That's a necessary thing that's real important that I can't let go right now. So it's like, in order for me to hit these different things, I have to go hard. I like last night, I'm up till 3 o'clock. Why? Because I had to take tests. Every year we have to redo these tests to be recertified for taxes. So I'm like, I'm doing all these different things. I even wound up having to take tests. And I'm Intuit certified, y'all. Hey, so I get to put my little I put my little thing up now, and I can put that on my LinkedIn and all that stuff now. But yes, so I have my certificates and things for that. But I'm like, you know, it's a lot when you're trying to get things done. And I try to tell people we all go through it. Like I said, I was the one spending the money before going for Christmas. I'll never forget. I told my mom, me and my mom laughed the other day, because I was like, how me and her was in Walmart almost about to get into a fight over a daggone door kitchen set that we was trying to get my daughter for Christmas, because she was, you know, at that time she was door. And so we sitting there, was one box left, right? And so I was like, I'm gonna just go sit on it so nobody grab it. And my mom was like, I'm gonna go get a cart. Now we in South Philly. We in there, I'm sitting on, and this girl literally acting like she was gonna pull it from while I'm sitting on it from underneath my butt while I'm sitting. And my mom was like, make your next move your best move. Make your next move your best move. So I was and so we said, I was like, I cannot believe we is about to go fighting over some. I was like, I will never go out on a Black Friday ever, because that was a Black Friday. And that was the first time I ever did that. I usually don't do Black Friday because I'm like, I don't like all that aggravation. I don't like standing in line.
Wait. Hold on. When you say the door, like the Dora the Explorer, the dog?
Yes, Dora the Explorer, yes.
Okay, I just had to get that straight. Okay, well, I remember back in the day, people used to be going toe to toe for electronics. And Teddy
Yes.
Ruxpin, my mom had got my niece Teddy Ruxpin dolls and different stuff. They used to be in there, but you notice this year, well, nobody in there fighting for nothing this year. Pray, bless their hearts. But okay, back to the
You
story.
know, I
So
even
mom was like,
this
make
year,
the best move,
you know, when I think about it, I didn't see anybody.
huh?
Right. You know, when I think about it, I haven't heard anybody getting anything major lately this year. Has anybody heard anybody getting anything major this year shopping? I haven't heard
No,
anything like major. You know how before it used to be the Tickle Me Elmo, and then it was the Rumpelstiltskin and all the different things. You don't hear nothing really.
but
Is it
everybody.
because of the game?
No, everybody was kind of on point to say that they were going to kind of boycott going into these stores this year. Because you know we
Uh,
ain't fooling with Target, and then nobody wasn't supposed to be showing up for Walmart. And then they say even the people that lined up at 3 a.m. outside of Target, girl, they gave them a trash bag. You hear me? It was a
well,
pretty bag that had like this iridescent. I had some of this paper. I just wrapped my godmom's presents that I sent her in this iridescent paper, but it was an iridescent bag. Sis, the bag was about this big, right? And do you know what they put in the bag for these people that was in the cold from 1 a.m. up until 6 a.m.? It was a deck of Uno cards. They said it was a dusty lip gloss that looked like it had been kicked across the floor. Eyeliner and some. It was like five things.
What if it was a man?
I am not lying. It was five things. And then they said the Target employees was outside hyping it up. The people was in the cold, 20 degrees weather. And then they said, oh, hang on. We're going to give you guys tickets. They gave them 100 tickets to the first 100 people. So they sent them over to customer service, gave them this trash bag with five things in it. Uno cards, some dusty lip gloss, some dusty eyeliner, and some other trash. But for the people of color that was in that line, I said, well, that's what you get. Because we've been boycotting Target. Y'all wasn't supposed to be out there anyway. That was my thoughts. Because
I don't know. To me,
Target
I haven't been to Target in years, but my reason why I haven't been there is because I felt like the prices just went too high. And then they started selling like name brand stuff in there where the prices I seen. What was me and my daughter went in there, and it was Anne Klein, I think it was, inside of Target. And then they wanted like $85 for a shirt. And I was like, in Target? And so that's when I haven't been back.
Wait, the last time I was in there was with Miss Tab. Huh? With Miss Tab at the
she said no major things because people shop all year long. She said that's why I was doing things, yeah.
And say no to that garbage. No, and then have some self-control. But the last time I was with Miss Tabitha Brown, I got a tea kettle. My husband bought me a purple tea kettle, and I was embarrassed to be in it.
Huh? You talking about from her collection? Oh, yeah, but hers is at Target too, ain't it?
Oh yeah, wait, girl, I'm gonna do a video this week for the clothes because last year Miss Tab did a collab with them and her clothes were in there. Then she did home goods. Like I had her notepads, her books. Matter of fact, this is one of her books. But I went in there. Then she did home goods. This was one of Miss Tab's books. She did nice binding books and stuff. But girl, I went in there to get the tea kettle and it was doing the boycott, girl. I was so embarrassed. I didn't even want to show my face. I was in there like this. And then I said, babe, it's okay. We can go. He said, no, babe, you want the tea kettle? It's purple. Get it. So we got the tea kettle. I got out of there. That was last year. That's the last time I was in there. But they Target juked them people, honey, on Black Friday. They juked them and they were mad. They all on TikTok. They was mad.
Wow. Well, like I said, we all had our times when it come to Christmas. We all had our moments. I'll never forget the year when Nintendo came out with Super Mario Brothers, the first one, not all this fancy stuff they got now. And I was up all night long playing that game because I was going to save that princess before I went to bed. I would not sleep for 2 days because I was saving that princess. So we all have our moments. But I just want to tell y'all, we have to learn to teach. Because what we do now is helping what we have to do for these kids in the future. And so a lot of times when we talk about what we've done or what we have went through, our parents, didn't have that knowledge. Our parents didn't know some of the things that we're getting to know now because these things were different back then. Now times have changed, things have changed. And so we now have to bring these different things, change the way we're growing up our kids. Yes, we might say, oh, I didn't have these things when I was young, so I want my kids to have everything now. Yes, I get it. I get it. When you don't have certain things, you're like, oh, I want my child to have everything, because I didn't have it. Then I understand that. However, and I say this even to myself, sometimes we have to teach them, just like Miss Day said, teach these kids how to make their own money, how to do certain things. That's just why, like last year, when we had Christmas last year, I told my daughter, I said, your gift for me is going to be something that can be a return, a ROI, a return on investment. What is it that you like to do? She said she wanted to do lashes. So what did I get her for Christmas? A lash class. So now you can do lashes and make you some money. So when you don't have no money, instead of keep coming for me $20 me to death, $30 me to death, you can actually be able to make some money by doing lashes. And then I pull out her talents. I said she has so many other talents that she can do. And then I said, like my daughter, when she was in school, she was hustling. She would be at the school making the dips, the different dips and selling them and all these different things like that. But I'm just like, you have to have that hustle. And that's why, honestly, and I no offense to the people in the South sometimes, but I felt like a lot of, to me, and I'm not saying it's not in the South because I know there are single parents in the South. However, I just noticed that when we came here and she started going to school here, there was a lot more parents that were, even if they were single and living in single parent homes, they still had the help of both parents. Whereas though in her situation, she only had me. So it was a little different. So therefore it was like I had to move different. I couldn't do certain things that maybe her girlfriend might have been able to do because she might just be living with her mom, but she still got her dad helping. You know what I mean? So there's two parents helping with that situation and it's just one. But one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not buying no kid, no bunch of stuff and your grades ain't right. Because if you can't get yourself out of school, we got a problem. We need to be focusing on your grades first. Because one thing I don't play with is we gonna have them grades on point. You're not gonna show me because I'm always the one that's gonna ask. Even to this day, I still question. And she's in her third year of college. Next year, she will be a senior in college, and I still asking how, looking and seeing her grades and everything because that's something that's important. Like I feel like you have to, if you're gonna say if this is something that number one we putting money into, and number two this is going to excel you for the future. And then number three, I'm not going to have no dummy as no child. Like you're going to know. And if you need help, if you can't read and write, we got a problem. We need to figure this out. We need to get you some help right now.
But sis, let me share this. Let me say this. One thing that I did not mention was that even when my mom was when we were growing up with my single parent mom from 7 to 3 job and 3 to 11, when Christmas came, my mom would let us get 2 gifts, right? But then the third gift would be something related to Black history. My mom would get us Black history puzzles. That's how I knew who Mary Bethune McLeod was. That's how I understood Malcolm X. That's how the Black history that I learned, honey, in the city of St. Louis, Missouri, they was not teaching Black history in my grade school, high school, nor college, okay? My mother taught me Black history, and the way she would do that was through puzzles. My dolls were African-American dolls that had on kente dresses, right? It was so beautiful, but she used but my mom was an activist. That's what she did. She fought for housing. That's what she did with her and her 3 girls. My mom had to fight to go to nursing school in Missouri. So that was a part of it as well. So as the parent, hey, there go the kids. If you want your children to get a good understanding about their history, because I'm going to start bringing that up on the channel too, because I can't keep sitting around here watching how we blacking out history. That's not going to be happening on my watch.
Is that really true? Is that really true? What he's saying, where they're taking away, is that something that really went into law for taking away Malcolm I mean Martin Luther King Day, and
All
and
of it, all of it. He wants to get rid of anything
Day.
that's Black history,
But
and
did it go
then
in for sure in writing, or is that just something he said? Because a lot of
he
things
doing
he's been saying, but it
order.
ain't.
He can do executive order and wiping it out. And then they got schools that's shutting down, taking out Maya Angelou books, Toni Morrison, anything a Black book that had to do that could talk about with a Black child. They did that. But listen to this. This is what I heard the other day. I know I'm digressing, y'all, but hang with me for a minute. You know, one of the oldest women that was in the Oklahoma massacre back in the day when they blew up and bombed Black Wall Street. There was one lady that was 103 years old. She was still alive. And she took her court case forward because her family was trying to get her some reparations because they blew up their business and what they did back then. Do you know they denied it?
Oh
She's the
wow!
only living one. They denied it. But look what somebody did. Remember when the January 6th rioters ran up on the Capitol, throwing stuff, beating cops, breaking in windows, pooping on people's desks, and all that kind of shit? That young Caucasian lady that bust her way through the window because she was in her car on TikTok talking about, I'm going to the Capitol. She bust her way through the window, and a Black civil servant guy shot her and she died. She's a Caucasian female, right? But she busted through the window. I think she might have had a firearm, but anyway, she got killed. Do you know that they paid her family $5 million?
Wow! I did not know that.
I just found this out yesterday, and it was a Caucasian man that went up on TikTok and told the story, and he
Wow!
was furious. $5 million they paid her for running up her family because she dead. They paid her family. Her mom standing up on the Capitol steps. Your daughter was in violation and doing, girl.
Wow!
But then the Black woman and family got denied to get
Wow!
any reparations. So anyway, I'm gonna do a video about that too. So
We
y'all
definitely,
follow me today all day. I'm gonna do it.
yeah, we got it. You got to do that one. Hold on, Natalie said I taught my child to pay their tithes, then pay themselves. They also work for me in my business, and that right there is smart because people don't understand
Yeah.
when you have that 17.5, your kids that amount up to that amount that's not taxable. So you can take that, and then also that takes away from your income. So then now you can have that as a write off for you, and then your kids don't even have to worry about paying no taxes on that. So that is a plus right there, Natalie. That is awesome. Nikki
That's
said,
awesome, Miss Nelly. Shout out to Miss Nelly.
exactly. Shout out to her. And Nikki Peterson said, must have them grades top tier. Absolutely. And they still don't in any public school. They sure did remove them. Hold on, I forgot. I don't know what she mean by
They
that.
removing books and Black history out of schools.
Okay. Yeah, that's
They
good. Great. Like you said, them grades gotta be top tier, and that's real. Like you can't keep giving kids trips and gifts and they not doing what they're doing in their schoolwork. Like, no, if you can't do well there, then we got a problem. Ain't
that
no
be a reward. That's a reward on the back.
like Santa ain't coming this year. He come when your grades go up.
No. Santa is delinquent. He's not coming here. Until you get your life right,
no Black.
She said no Santa.
Oh yeah, she said no Black taught in public schools. Yeah, and they also took the funding from the HBCUs because that's the drama we've been going through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And affirmative action, all of it. And like you said, these ain't dumb kids that's getting into these Ivy League schools. It is craziness. But we need to stand up and see, sis, that's me. You're gonna talk about it because that's my thing. I'm over here trying to be politically correct. Honey, that don't work with the window. It's time to get real. And we need to talk about it. That's why we're gonna have some real talk with Miss Day all day over here. We're gonna talk about it. But it's up to us, and we gotta stand up and then hold our children accountable so that they can be the leaders of the future. That's who they are called to be. And y'all forgive me because I have a plant in my house and there's one gnat in here. That's why I've been slapping that all night.
I was wondering, you just keep going. I was like, okay, there must be a net flying in front of her.
Yeah, it got off on one of my plants, and I'm gonna kill his ass before I get out of here.
grades depends on the child. For me, not every child can handle school. That's true. However, I just feel that there is always help for them to whatever subject it is, because even if you as a parent can't do it, because I remember when Sade
Homeschool.
was in school, and she actually, they were starting to teach them the new math where they had to do it totally different than how I learned it. I literally went to class at her school so I can learn it the way that she needed to know it for school, just so I can be able to help her with her homework. Because that's just me. Like, I'm just adamant about making sure that she gets what she needs to get. So for me, I just feel like if you can't do it as a parent, at least get them the help that can help them and teach them in
Yes.
fun ways. Like we used to be doing um we would do math, like I would do baseball in the house where we would do our work, like whether it's social studies, science, whatever, we would do baseball. And we would have the room set up in bases. So every time she got an answer right, she would go to the next base in the room. Or we would do, like, we play
Oh,
with games, like we'll do rap songs, turn it into a rap, like, different things to make it fun so it's not so boring. Because again, everybody is not good in every subject, because I know math is not for her. I like math, so of course I'm going to always be able to help her when it comes to that. But she's
mhm.
more of that social studies person, and I hated that. So, like I said, we kind of fuel off of where it comes in, like what she needs help with. I can always get her that help, get her the tutoring or whatever it is that she may need if it's something that she's lacking.
And
Um,
see, that's powerful because even as a community, we ought to come together. My good girlfriend, she was home. She have homeschools her daughter. Because if
mhm,
I had a child, honey, I'd be serious. I'd be thinking about whether I put them in a public school too. And some of
mhm,
us couldn't afford private. But
right.
homeschooling, if you're able, and then but with the math and the sciences, she puts her in an academy. She
And
got
with
her
homeschool,
academy.
you think it's, hold on, didn't I say, she said two of my kids homeschool and did well on their own. That's real good. Nikki said
See?
I 2000. She said, Nikki Peterson said I invested $2,000 in Sylvan Learning Center so my daughter could get the help in math. I worked my butt off to ensure she didn't fall behind. That's real. And I
That's
just say that's good, but we just have to really help them, because sometimes, if, like, there's a lot of kids that's out there who, they got parents or people that's around that don't even ask them like about their work. No, never ask them about homework. Don't ever even look at anything with them, and they don't get that help or that assistance at all. And then that's how they fall through the cracks. And then it's
that's
like,
how we come
why
up.
they're not doing dollars, because they don't have no help to help them at all. And that's not a good. So I'm like, even if you as a parent, because I know in my hours when I had a job, and that's why I am so adamant like about working for myself now, because when I worked at my job, because of it being so much of a high demand, the type of job I was in, I literally did not get a chance to do half the stuff that I was able to do when my child was in high school after I stopped working for someone. Because
Mm-hmm.
all before then, I couldn't go to, when she was getting awards and stuff in school, my neighbor was going for me. Like,
Wow.
I literally had to have other people send me
A
pictures,
village. A
and
village. Mhm.
because I had nobody to do it. And, I was here. So it was just like, I had nobody going to these different events. I couldn't go to this stuff because I couldn't get off of work all the time to do that stuff. So that was
Mhm.
another reason why I was so adamant about pushing to where I'm at now, because I'm like, I just refuse to keep having to say, I can't be there. I can't show up. Like now,
Mhm.
it's like, it's nothing that she has or she got going on now that I'm not there. Like,
That's good.
I'm going to make time now. But before, it was like I could not get off of work. I couldn't go to
Right.
this. I couldn't go to that. So that to me was more of that push that made me go even harder, because I was like, when my daughter went all through the rest of like her high school, I was right there for everything. But when she was in middle school and elementary school, I barely was able to be there for hardly anything, because I was
That's
always,
real. That's real.
is like one of the things that I hated, because I was like, dang, I could never go eat lunch with her or go to one of her programs. Them programs that they always had, it was always during the time that I was at work.
Work day.
And by the time I get off of work, because I'm driving 2 hours to get to work, and by the time I get there, it's over. So it was just like, for me, that was one of the things that was so important, is being able to be present. And like I said,
Mhm.
everybody's situation is different. We all have different reasons on why we want to do things. But for my reasoning is because I want to be present. Some people don't understand how important it is to be present when it comes to a kid and being in their life, because there's other parents that are not there, especially when you are a single parent and don't have another parent there. You need one of those parents to be present, because I
That's
don't care how much money you throw at a person, a kid, or do whatever you do. The presence is more important than anything, because that time you can never get that back. We can always say, oh, you got $1 or $2, but what about those memories that y'all created together? That's something
yeah.
you can never get back. So for me, that's what's important to me. But let's talk now. We did kind of shift away, but let's say now I had on here about what to start doing right now when it comes to making a simple holiday budget, and prioritizing needs over wants, paying essential bills first, using cash or debit to control your spending, and setting up appointments or registering. So what is it that people are? What would you say you should do to make sure you're making sure that holiday budget? I will say write down all the bills that you have for that month. And when you write down the bills that you have for that month, also put down the income that you're going to have for that month. And then see what it is. Basically, do a profit and loss for yourself. Even if you don't have a business, do a profit and loss for yourself. Basically, showing what your income and your expenses are, and whatever is left over. And that's where you can say, okay, this is how much I can utilize to do for Christmas. Now, if you know that you're on a real tight budget, and I know some people will, if you got little kids, they may not understand this, so you may still have to get some stuff. But if your kids are older, you may be able to say, we're going to do Christmas after Christmas when everything go on sale. You know,
Hey, hey,
you know what I
but this
mean?
is
Like,
on sale. It's going on sale. You'll get more after the
right,
fact, but still limited to a certain amount. It's not an
right,
unlimited smorgasbord. Whereas we
right,
could have maybe got 2, we can get 3. Let's get those
right.
gifts afterwards because they try
And
to
that,
clear it out. Yeah.
yeah, she said it's sad to say that only in the minority communities do grades matter. The others are working and getting things because of relationships and who knows who. And that is a fact. That is a definite fact. Us minorities have to get back to the community and building together. That's so true. She said only get one gift, pay bills ahead of time. My family understand that time isn't more important than stuff. And then Nikki said Christmas is canceled around here for 2025. And
Hey,
that encourage time together. That is facts. Nikki said we got
family
college.
time.
She said we got college next year. And that's true. Like with those is good, like really good care. And I really love what both of them are saying. Like with Natalie, time is important. It's the most important
It
thing.
is. And
And
do
then
some
like you
arts and
said, college,
crafts.
them college bills ain't no joke. Of college boy. When I tell you, and talking about college bills, let me tell y'all something. If y'all are listening right now, might as well bring this up now. I'm supposed to transition this later, but if y'all are listening on December 17th, which is next Wednesday, I'm going to be doing a get ready for tax season live on here the same way we're now. Only thing is it's going to be more interactive. I'm actually going to have a Zoom. I have a registration that you can register on, and I will have that underneath this video. Once we are finished, I'll put it underneath it so you can be able to click it to register. But make sure you register for that, because one of the things that I'm going to be doing is telling people, talking to you about what documents you need when it comes to getting your taxes together. Also, with deductions, business owners don't want to forget, because you in all different kinds of backgrounds, from real estate to construction to truck driving to consultant to accountant, whatever you're in, there's all different types of deductions that you can take. So I want you to not leave nothing on the table. The next thing, we want to avoid delays. We want to know what's the best filing class for you. We also want to, I'm even going to do something even more live for y'all, is I'm going to show y'all even how to turn your bank statement into a profit and loss. So if you don't have the money to hire a bookkeeper, you're going to be able to do that by the time we get off of that Zoom, because you're going to be able to see, and I'm going to walk you through it step by step, where y'all can see how to turn your bank account, your bank statement into a profit and loss. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to y'all a tad bit about credit. And when I talk about the credit portion, I want to, and the reason why I'm bringing this part up is because when Nikki just said we got college next year, that was one of the things that messed me up. I was sitting here, like I said, they took, when Trump came in, he took a lot of things when they came away from a lot of HBCUs. So I was using my credit cards, I was using my money. And unfortunately, I didn't have this set up like I should have. You know, I was not prepared for having a child going to college and all of that. I wasn't, honestly, I wasn't prepared, which I should have been better prepared. And one of the things my brother would tell me, he was like, he had different funds and things put together for his kids beforehand. I didn't do that because, to be honest, I wasn't even thinking I was going to have no kids. But when I did, that was like the last thing, honestly, that I was thinking about. And so one of the things that I'm going to do is I am definitely going to put a prompt, and I'm going to show y'all the exact prompt that I used, because when I tell y'all 30 days ago, and I'm going to show y'all, because I don't want y'all thinking I'm capping, because when I tell y'all this stuff, I'll be straight up real. Like I'm going to show y'all. My credit score dropped down to a 597. 597. I use this prompt, and right now my credit score is at 767. So I want to show y'all how I did that in 30 days. In 30 days. And when I tell y'all I was busting my butt, but it told me how to do that step by step. And I'm going to add that in there when I talk to y'all about the tax season training getting set up, because why I want everybody not just ready for taxes, but I want y'all ready for 2026. Because when we come in 2026, I want everybody that is connected to me, watching me. Not only do I want y'all to be ready for y'all taxes, but I want y'all to be ready for 2026 with good credit and good money in your pocket. So if I have any gems that I can give to you to help you within your business, I'm going to put it out there. I don't gatekeep. I'm going to put it out there. So that is something else that I'm going to put out there. I'm also going to show y'all a tad bit. It's not going to be long because I don't want this session to go too long and y'all fall asleep on me. But I'm going to show y'all a couple different things that y'all can do even with AI. And after that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send y'all everybody who joins that registration. So make sure y'all share that out. If y'all have y'all Facebook pages, share it out. Because what I'm going to do is whoever registers, I'll make sure I send y'all, because in 2026, I'm going to have a community. And in that community, all the stuff that I'm talking to you about, you will be able to have videos that you can click on and be able to do all of this stuff step by step going forward. I'm even going to put in there different information as far as grants is going to be in there for whatever type of business that you have. They're going to be updated daily. We're also going to have different books from different people who have different things. Like we got Miss Day all day over here. She be making those shakes and things, getting y'all healthy with the drinks and stuff. Y'all going to be able to have access to Miss Day that can teach y'all some stuff when it comes to health, who was a surviving 3 times through cancer, helping you out. And she's sitting here looking fabulous right now because of the things that she's doing. We also going to be getting ready for my event. So if you are a business owner, in February, I'm looking for sponsors. If you want to promote your business, no matter what your business is, and you want to have your logo put on our board and also get recognized and even be able to speak on stage, because that is also really, really good to be able to be in front of people, because that looks good on your resume to be able to have those photos. Because guess what? We have a photographer and a videographer who's going to be there making sure they get those pictures and things, so you can use that for your social media, for your platforms, for your website, so you can show credibility. So that is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build more business minded and business things that can help people in their business all the way around, from setup to marketing to making that money. So we getting all the way through with helping each other in our community. So we may not be able to be public eyes, like, you know, with certain things, but we're going to start our communities and we're going to start it from here. So that right there, make sure y'all on the 17th so y'all can get involved in it. Because, and then also the next day, so we're going to be with y'all Wednesday and Thursday of next week, because right after Wednesday, on Thursday, we're going to be doing a giveaway again. The giveaways again, we're going to have some gift cards. We're going to have some trips. We're going to have all kinds of stuff that we're going to be giving away. And I don't play about the giveaways. if anybody did get giveaways, please take a picture and post it so people can see that I actually did deliver this stuff, because I don't want people thinking that I'm saying I'm giving people stuff and I don't give them anything. I want them to see that I really send this stuff out and I really mail or send the emails or whatever it is that I have to do to get this stuff out to y'all, so people know that y'all are winning stuff. So please take a picture and tag me in it if you are a winner. That will be on the 18th. We're going to play some games. Now, this time, last time we had some fun. I want it to be bigger. So this time, because some people don't type as fast as others, we are not just going to do the typing inside with the stuff. We're going to actually go live on it. We're going to do it as a Zoom, so people faces can be on the screen, and then people can actually sing these different things and talk these different things, so they don't always have to be the one typing, and we spin it and do it. So we're going to have fun with it, because we had really a good time with guessing the movie scenes, guessing the different things. I thought it was so much fun. So this time we're going to do it in the that it can be fun, but give it so it's not so hard, make sure it's easy for everybody so we can have fun with doing it. And then again, like I said, we're going to have a good time with it. So make sure y'all on next week, the 17th and the 18th, because those are going to be our last 2 live days before 2026. So those two are going to be our final 2 live days with this station or our podcast until next year. But we have so many good things coming in place for 2026. And we are, like I said, we starting it off. And so before we get ready to hop off, y'all, I want y'all to remember that the holidays should not break you. Create a plan, stick to your budget, stop trying to buy love. People who love you want you stable and not stressed. Make sure y'all register for that tax season training for the 17th. Make sure y'all on for the Christmas giveaway on the 18th. Share this live with someone who needs these money moves tonight. I appreciate all of y'all. I love y'all. And I want every single one of you stepping into 2026 financially ready, organized, and protected. So let me see if there's anything else.
And prioritize your needs over wants. That's my last word. Needs over wants.
Yes. And like I said for y'all, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all support. And I'm going to keep giving as much as I can, making sure that we staying strong within our community, learning the different things. Like I said, Thursday, next Wednesday and Thursday, Wednesday, we are going to go in. I'm going to show y'all everything when it comes to getting y'all businesses together, getting that tax season stuff together, knowing what type of what you should be filing with as your filing class, knowing if you should be single, married filing separate, married filing joint, whether you should be head of household. I'm going to talk about all that. I'm going to talk to you about them earned income credits. I'm going to talk to you about them child tax credit. I'm going to talk to y'all about all the things that taxes is going to bring to y'all table in the next 2 months. So make sure y'all are on so y'all can be ready and that y'all don't lose out on any deductions. I'm going to be having so many different things that you can not only deduct, but even for your depreciations, things that like you have your items like from furniture to cars and all those different type of things that you can have depreciation written off of. So we're going to discuss all of that next Wednesday. So make sure y'all on, make sure y'all share with everybody. And as a matter of fact, since we're doing that giveaway on the 18th, y'all know I just thought about something. I'm telling everybody to share. The person who got the most people to join on the 17th, I'm going to give a special gift for that person on the 18th. For the person who got the most people registered for the live, live on that Thursday, I'm going to give them something special on the 18th for our giveaway. So whoever that is, sure y'all share it out. And it ain't going to be nothing cheesy. I think I'm going to do something nice.
And you know what? They're good. They need to know how to connect so they can get the product from you too, because that's what I wanted to share. I wrote that on my notes on my paper that I'm just so absolutely blessed to have you as a business partner and my accountant. Okay. So I'm just, if you need some tax help, tell them how they can sign up and get the product, because that is a blessing as well going into that new year.
I'm talking about for the you talking about for the
$297
business registered.
Yes.
Oh, yes, y'all. I'm so sorry. I didn't even, you know what? I'm out here slipping, y'all. Okay, so
Got
for
you. I
I
got
also
you.
have so for y'all who don't have your business set up properly, I have a setup that can help you with getting your business set up from scratch. And not only am I helping you with getting your business set up, but I will walk, it's going to be set up from A to Z. And I'm also going to touch on a little bit of that when we talk on next week, Thursday, because I want y'all to understand also, because there's sometimes we as people, even myself, like we started off incorrectly. So I want to show y'all certain things that can help you go the right path. And I'll also include that link underneath this as well and tell y'all what steps to go in and things so y'all can be able to get that too. So make again, like I said, make sure y'all share because we're going to discuss all of that next Wednesday on everything when it comes to taxes and business. We're going to put it all out there. If y'all have questions, is even go ahead and put those questions in there on your when you register, so I can make sure I include that stuff on there as well, so I'm not forgetting anything. Again, you can ask your questions because we are going to have Q&A that day, so you can always ask whatever it is that you may need when it comes to the different things on that day as well. So again, make sure y'all share this out as much as y'all can. And like I said, whoever get the most people on for that for the Wednesday, I will make sure I have something special for you on that Thursday. So I will announce you. So even if you don't come on a live on Thursday, to still make sure you come on at least, because you have to be present to win. So make sure that you come on that Thursday so we can get you that special gift, because you have to be present to be able to win any of the prizes on Thursday. If you're not present, we can't get you the gift. We have to move on to the next winner. So again, y'all, I want to say thank y'all again for y'all time and support. I hope y'all have a fabulous weekend, and we will see y'all next week on both Wednesday and Thursday of next week. So talk to y'all and enjoy the rest of your night.
Talk it out with D and D.
Hey.